Hey, so we are back for another edition of The Shift. And well, we are entering into part three of intentional focus. Part three of intentional focus. If you haven't catched part 1 and 2, go back and listen to it. But today we are on part 3. June is right around the corner. This year is swiftly moving by, and that's why we're having the conversation about intentional focus, right? So we can hit our goals, so we can continue to strive in the directions of our dreams. Listen, I love looking up words, looking up the synonyms of what they mean. When I looked up the synonyms of intentional, the following words popped up: deliberate, calculated, conscious, done on purpose, intended, planned, studied, pre-planned, thought out in advance, and predetermined. I'm going to read the list again, and all of these words jump out to me. Hopefully they're jumping out to you. When we have intentional focus, we must be deliberate. We must be calculated. We must plan ahead, and it must be done on purpose. Intentional also means intended. What is the intent of why you do what you do? You know, sometimes we walk through life and we wake up and say we're going to just see what's going to stick. We have no strategy, no plan. For those of you that follow me, you know I'm a business strategist. Everything I do comes with a plan, mapped out plan that's attached to long-term goals, right? Intentional means planned. It means studied. There's a season when you're trying to work on a goal or a project or whatever it is you're trying to manifest. There's a season that you need to study the industry that you're trying to build in. There's cycles and seasons to everything, right? There's a season to produce, but sometimes before we produce or before we see the manifestation of whatever it is we're trying to do, there is a study season. So I ask you, have you taken the time to study the industry that you want to grow in, to study the industry that you want to build in? Have you studied any tools that can help the forward progress of you building in that industry? What type of technology do you need to assist you and aid you as you continue to move forward? Again, intentional means pre-planned. Intentional, it comes with a weight. Intentional is not just saying, hey, I see what someone else is doing. I think I want to do it also. That's not intentional. Intentional is where you have studied for a season, you have pre-planned, and you have thought out in advance on what you want the outcome to be. Then you back it up and you start executing on those daily action steps. It means predetermined. In other words, in your mindset, before you even see any results of what it is you want to do, you have already predetermined in your mindset of the outcome. You've already predetermined in your mindset that no matter what roadblocks come, no matter what the naysayers say, no matter of negative thinking that may want to pop up in my own mind, I've already predetermined what the outcome is going to be. Because when those roadblocks come, when the naysayers come, when the negative mindset want to pop up, perhaps because of whatever surroundings you're in, and you're soaking up that environment and it's shifting your mindset, you have to have a predetermined mindset that I don't care what other people say. I don't care what roadblocks are in my way. I have a predetermined mindset to move forward. I have a predetermined mindset to not let anything stop me. And I'm going to make deliberate, calculated steps, being very conscious of every move I take, being very conscious of what I do, because everything I do will be done on purpose. It will connect to the intended purpose of why I'm doing it. I'm not just going to wake up and see what sticks. I would have studied the industry that I want to build in. I would have studied the market, the geographical regions that I want to build in, and now I can move forward. Now I can have that level of focus, because if you don't have the intentional planned out strategy, sometimes we're not able to focus because we don't have a plan. The plan is the first step, so we can focus on something. When I looked up the synonyms of focus, it said central point, it said pivot. I thought that was interesting. Point of convergence, distinct, and nucleus. I'm going to say those synonyms for focus again. Central point, pivot, point of convergence, distinct, and nucleus. So, when after you've studied the industry you've been in, you've already have your predetermined mindset. You thought out in advance of what you're going to do. You know what's the intended purpose. Now you're able to lock in on a central point. You're not here, there, and all over the place. You're on the left side, the right side. No, you're right in the central point. But I thought was interesting when I saw the synonym for focus was also pivot. And see, to me, that is very interesting, because a lot of times when you are building and you are moving forward, sometimes you got to pivot. Sometimes you got to shift, and you have to know when to shift. That's why this whole podcast show is called The Shift. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut and in a certain flow, and there's nothing producing, but we're staying stuck in that same pattern. We have to know sometimes as we're moving and as we're building, sometimes we have to pivot. Pivot doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Pivoting so that way you can be fruitful. So pivoting so that way you can manifest the dream. I thought point of convergence was very interesting when we talk about focus, because sometimes think about when you're driving on the road, there's always, sometimes it could be four, directions in a road, but there's always a point of convergence. There's always a meeting point. So when I thought of point of convergence, and I thought about our mindset, there has to be a point of convergence in our mindset that we come to terms with what we want to do. There could be multiple thoughts going through your mind, but at some point you have to have a meeting of the minds, a meeting with your own mindset, and say, listen, this is what I'm determined to do. I am not going to allow multiple thoughts rule my day. I'm going to have a centralized point of focus. If I need to pivot for production purposes, then I'm going to pivot, but I am going to move forward. A synonym for focus again is distinct. Distinct meaning it's a very clear objective that you're trying to accomplish. And nucleus. Nucleus, what is the central focus of your why? Have you thought about that lately? What is the central focus of your why? And then I looked up some antonyms of focus, and it said misdirected and wandering. Sometimes when we're trying to build our business or build that outreach program, have you ever felt that you was misdirected? Have you ever felt that you were just wandering around with no sense of purpose? Or you may know your purpose, but you're just kind of wandering and you don't feel that you're hitting a mark. See, this is why I'm talking about intentional focus, because if you've ever felt misdirected or wandering, hopefully through some of these talk series on intentional focus will help you to get clear on what it is you ought to do as you continue to move forward. When we think about being focused, we have to be intentional about bringing a commitment to every single day. What are you committed to today, right? What are you committed to doing tomorrow, right? It's about bringing a level of commitment to every single day. It's about being focused and having attention to something that is important to you. Having an intentional focus is a way of thinking about your business and your life that you're committed to. It's having purpose. It's being deliberate. If you want to be more intentional with your time and energy and focus, it is important to get clear up front about what you want to achieve and then take action on achieving it. It's so important to take action. We can dream all day about what we want to do, but taking action is coupled with our daily behavior patterns, right? And the thoughts that we think, because our thoughts and our behavior pattern is dictating our actions. Learning to be intentional is so important, and it is a qualification to your growth. Being intentional is a qualification to your growth, right? And as you continue to grow internally, it's going to show externally, and you're going to attract the attention from your target audience just by you being intentional, just by you being deliberate. If you want to move forward in your life and make progress, you want to be very intentional on what you're doing. Be intentional helps you to birth possibilities. It is the prerequisite of those possibilities coming to reality. If you want to achieve bigger goals, you want to achieve better goals, you want to go higher in your business and your personal life, then you must become intentional. Being intentional means to having the ability to see specific results in the future that is yet to come. If you achieve them, you will know that you will be empowered. You have the capability of empowering yourself. And by you empowering yourself, guess what? You're going to empower other people around you. When you are intentional, you make deliberate decisions. Once again, you make deliberate decisions on what's really important. You trim back the fat, things that are unnecessary, just busy work that has nothing to do with nothing. You trim all that away. Being intentional means getting clear up front about what it is you want to achieve. This is your vision. What is your vision? What is your purpose? You must get clear about what it is you want. And then you must reinforce that with yourself every single day. Write down your vision statement and recite it to yourself in the morning. Write down your goals and recite it to yourself in the morning, right? When you become very specific, you ought to have specific measurements and deadlines that you give to yourself. Nobody should have to tell you when you want to get something done. That's something you have to stick with on your own. When you're intentional, again, you're going to have specific outcomes, specific results. If you're not seeing those specific results, then we have to check our intention. Now, let's talk about some strategies and steps and how you can be intentional, right? In order to be intentional, we must be purposeful with each and every day. If you want to achieve your goal, you need to have a clear focus at the start of the day and execute, right? You want to be very focused on where it is you want to go. You need to know and write it down. I write it down. I write down what I want to achieve every single day. Does that mean we're going to hit the mark every single day? No. Does that mean that we may not need to take a pause or break to refresh ourselves? Absolutely, you have to do those things. I'm in no way saying go 24/7 because that's not realistic and it's not healthy. But what I am saying is, even as you write out your intentional steps and your goals, you can write in your break time. You can write in your health and wellness time for yourself, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's walking, whether it's going in around nature, whatever it is for you. Write that into your schedule so you can have a balanced schedule. I'm not saying go 24/7. It's not healthy. But what I am saying is you need to have intentional focus about everything you're trying to do. So make sure your day is full of purpose. You want to get clear on the results you want to achieve. Unless you have clarity about the importance of your results you want to achieve, you will not have intention in every single day. You won't. You will just wake up and see what's going to stick. You want to get clear from up front of the outcome that you want to achieve and then set those specific deliverable action steps every single day. That's part 2. Part 3, be purposeful with your time. When you get clear on the content of what you're trying to do, the outcome is going to come to you naturally. And then you won't allow other things to impede in your progress of your day. Some phone calls you can't pick up, some text message you can't respond to at that moment in time if it's going to break up your flow. You need to be very clear about your purpose so that your result is going to be what you're looking for. This creates better boundaries also and helps you stay focused and make sure that you're intentional about how you're going to invest your time. Time is something we don't get back. How are you investing your time? How are you investing your time? Number 4, be considerate of your focus. What does that mean, be considerate of your focus? Sometimes we lay out a plan and we say what we're going to do, and then we just put it back on the shelf. And we somehow think that it's just going to manifest on its own, but that's not reality. We have to eliminate any activities that's not in an alignment of our focus. We have to eliminate anything that's getting in the way of us completing our daily action steps. Being intentional with your focus ensures that certain activities that you may be doing in the past are stopped. Maybe certain things is done with, but yet we're still doing it. Maybe it's certain things that you need to outsource or delegate to someone else. Having this focus on your vision is going to create deliberate action steps. Maybe you don't need to wear all the hats anymore. If you've been wearing all the hats, maybe you need to take one of the hat and give it to someone else. Outsource it, delegate, so you can be fruitful in your core area of your life, the thing that you know that is your best, and you want to just hone in on your best skill and delegate the rest. Become intentional about your goals. One of the best ways to achieve a result is to be intentional up front. Speak to yourself, and then you want to put a framework around your goal, right? What is the framework for you to accomplish your goal? This investment of your time will amplify your intentionality. It will amplify it. Be mindful of your relationships that you have, right? Business relationships, personal relationships, associations, right? Are those relationships pouring into you? Are you pouring into them? Is it mutual, or is it just one way? Intentionality helps you to understand what type of healthy relationships you need to have, right? As you continue to move forward and as you continue to build, we must understand and be present in our communication one to another, right? We're entering into a season as we want to continue to build. We have to be very intentional about what type of relationships we're building. We have to have intentional focus. We don't need dead weight around us, right? Again, I'm not saying people are dead weight, but sometimes, if you're on a track where you want to move forward and someone else is kind of, just hanging around, but they don't really have any clear goals or objectives, that's going to weigh on you eventually. It will, because sometimes it can even slow you down, because if you have the guilt mindset, well, maybe I'm doing too much, the other person isn't doing anything. Listen, you have to run the race with people that also want to run the race with you. I'm not saying cut people off, but you have to make sure you're running the race with people that want to run with you. And do not slow your pace down because someone else wants to go at a slower rate. Let them go at the rate in the capacity that they want to go, but that don't mean you slow yourself down. As we get ready to wind down this particular segment, I want you to understand intentionality grows when you focus on being intentional. And I know it's a play on of words, but intentionality grows when you focus on being intentional. You get stronger in that area when you focus on it. Whatever you put your intention on, it grows, it magnifies. To be intentional every single day, you have to get clear up front on exactly what it is you want to do and achieve. You understand its importance and take focus every single day. Every single day, take focus on your action, execute on your dreams, understand that the best is yet to come for you. Don't give up, don't give in. For those of you that may not know, I have a networking event coming up on Friday, May 31st. Everyone is welcome to come. It kicks off at 6:30 p.m. at SCN Studio in Baltimore. Then on Saturday, June 22nd, is the Extreme Business Conference in Vienna, VA, which is really in the Tyson's Corner area. Would love for you to participate. If you have any questions about that, call me 443-799-6529. You can shoot me an email, ct@catherinetrotter.com. Listen, the best is yet to come for you, and I'm going to see you at the top.